Amy. From not a very good public speaker to a worse one. I'll do my best. I can't thank you enough, every one of you, for being here today. And as Amy has just said, it's not just really about me and my family. It is about humanity. And my speech is, I don't know, I'm not a very good writer of speeches, but I'll do my best to not cry, because my speech is about how do you grieve a genocide. Have you not heard the story of my family? Yeah. And the 2 million Palestinians caged in Gaza. So my message, if you are going to take a home message, is their suffering must be inscribed into your minds and never forgotten. This is my message. I could stop here. For 6 months now, I and you have watched in horror as one of my cousins, he's only 14, or he was 14 years old. He's the same age as my daughter. He was a football lover who was brutally killed by an indiscriminate Israeli rocket. His fault that he was on his way to buy food for his man-mad, starved family. Does this cruelty have no bounds? His mother, my cousin, had her other son severely disabled by an Israeli strike to his brain in a previous Israeli onslaught on Gaza. So imagine her suffering. Is killing 14,000 children not enough to say enough is enough? When will slaughtering of children stop? The children of Gaza have paid the highest price. They have been completely and utterly devastated. Israel has abused them, stripped and violated their bodies, their souls, their dignity, their vulnerability, their innocence, their joy, their play, their education, their health, their development. They have been deprived of any ounce of their rights. What about the men of Gaza? Another cousin, Ahmed. He's diabetic. He's had his arm shattered by a passing Israeli bomb shot while taking refuge in a Shifa hospital. He's now in Egypt. He is disabled, waiting for donors to replace his arm. He's a man, he's a father, he's a husband, who's faced the tragedy of his own injury, but also the guilt of abandoning his own family. They stayed behind in a tent, starving, with no one to look after them. What about the elderly in Gaza? My dad, he's 82, he's one of them. He's faced the death multiple times, not because of his illnesses and ailments, but because Israel destroyed every hospital, almost every hospital, every clinic, killed hundreds of doctors and nurses. So he had no one to look after him. Thanks to each one of you and your generous donations, he is now safe. And I've just come back last night after seeing him and my mother and my sister and my nephew. He is now looked after. And how do you react to the news of killing your childhood neighbors? Not any neighbors. They were the most gentle and caring souls you would ever wish to live near you. Will you cry with me until more tears left to shed? When your brother Ahmed, his wife, and his 18-month-old Tala send you a message begging for help. They are foraging around for edible weeds to make a meal, facing inevitable death, if not by bombs and diseases, then by injuries. What injuries? From airdropped aid packages on their heads. Or they could drown in the sea trying to retrieve this aid. Have you seen my niece's photo on the cover of my fundraiser? For God's sake, she's only 18 months. She is a shade of her normal self. Malnourished. Acute hunger, famine have become empty words in the face of man-made inevitable death by starvation. Are you like me, constantly haunted by thousands of shocking, raw, unedited footage and videos taken by brave journalists of Gaza? Hundreds of them targeted and cruelly killed by Israel. These footages and videos of men, women, children, and even babies maimed, their bodies shattered to pieces of flesh. Hundreds of them and thousands of them are still unburied under the rubble of their own homes. The US and Israel and the West at large do have heavy machinery to build a fictional pyre or pier, but not to allow grieving families to dig their decomposed loved ones from under the ruins of their homes. Homes? What homes? I can tell you now, no homes are left in Gaza anymore. And how do I know? Because 90% of my family have no homes to go back to. Even if war stops now, they wouldn't even know where to live. And then tell me, how do you as a father or a mother or a doctor, pediatrician, begin to fathom seeing live videos of babies in intensive care unit intentionally left to decompose? In a children's hospital you had once worked at, walked its corridors, this hospital now wiped off earth, remaining only stench of death and souls of killed kids roaming its walls. Do you have a term for those people who are exercising flagrant disregard for Palestinian lives? Why don't I, my family and millions of Palestinians don't deserve to live? Do we not deserve to be not occupied, not to be enslaved, not to be oppressed? It is you, my colleagues, my friends, my patients, the families of my patients, parents, the people of the Highland and Scotland at large, who gave me the strength to crawl out of darkness by religiously attending protests, signing petitions, pressuring politicians, boycotting Israeli products, and generously donating to evacuate my father Nabil, he's 82, my mother Dalal, she's 72, my sister Hadith, she's 42. And there is some hope because I've celebrated her birthday while in Egypt this week. And my nephew, Walid, he's 23, the same age as my son, Imagine his story. His mother, Haya, had agreed reluctantly to my proposal to let him evacuate with my family and leave her and his brother, sister's father to stay back in Rafah in Gaza. And the reason I did that, because I only had enough money to pay only for him. Am I God or superpower to decide who lives and who doesn't? One of my colleagues has told me there is a similar story to mine. It's called Sophie's story. Maybe look it up when you go back. Google it. And you are still here with me. You are still campaigning tirelessly despite dark, unfounded smears to discredit your moral courage to speak out against tyranny and injustice. Those who are labeling us as extremists, who are denying, apologizing, aiding, and abetting this genocide, are making a mockery of their humanity. Would you ever believe them when they make announcements, statements, and pass useless laws and resolutions about safeguarding human rights, international law, and rules-based compassionate world order? I speak for many other Palestinians when I say we do feel betrayed. We do. And if the world is to relinquish its morality, Gaza and Palestine is the deciding moral compass. The future of its people will determine the future of humanity. So Palestinians' message to the world is that of life, of hope, of justice. The world, including you, have no options but to give Palestinians their lands, grant them their rights to return, their own state, help them heal their traumas, rebuild their lives. Never again is now or never. I am here giving a public speech. My friends and family would tell you I would never have done that in my previous life. I am here because I could no longer continue my life as before. The bare minimum, at least I can do, is to try and save my own family from annihilation. And as Amy said, I've managed to get one family out and I've registered the second. Only when I got into Egypt and I've realized, because of this event, I've got enough money to do that. So I have registered my brother Muhammad, his wife, and his 2 kids. So concluding my speech, some of you have already come. You are here, so you are doing something about it. You might choose to speak out. Others, including the brave medics of Raymore Hospital, just to name a few, Iko, Hamish, and Angus, they've done the brave thing. They actually had been to Gaza and they've treated the wounded in Gaza. I don't think I can be as brave as them. There are also the brave aid workers who had lost their lives, who had been killed by Israel. And what was their fault? They were trying to feed the starved children, women in Gaza. And I'm really sorry and sad for their loss and how their families must feel. You could do other things. You could write a book or a poem about the genocide in Gaza. You could boycott or sanction or divest. But what you can't do is stay silent, because staying silent is not an option anymore. And lastly, never again is now. Thank you.